The Government of India appointed a Chief of Defence Staff at the beginning of 2020. It was an important decision recommended by the Kargil Review Committee report much earlier in the year 2000. Along with this, two other important decisions were taken. These were creating a Department of Military Affairs in the Ministry of Defence with CDS as its head, a post of Permanent Chairman, Chiefs of Staff Committee or PCCOSC. The next important step would be forming of theatre commands. So what are these theatre commands? Let's first understand what we mean by command. A command in military terminology is an organizational unit for which a military commander is responsible. In the Indian Army, four sizes from the lowest upwards are generally called sections, platoons, companies, battalions, brigades, divisions, corps, and commands. The Navy and IAF have commands as well, but with fewer hierarchies. The Navy's main operational organization is a fleet, and for the IAF, it's squadrons. And a theatre in military terms includes land and sea areas as well as airspace that is or that may potentially become involved in war operations. Space and cyber are other domains that are controlled at the highest level. So a theatre command means a tri-service command for a particular geographical area. It is conceptually founded on the notion that larger theatres will facilitate flexible inter-service cooperation and therefore optimal utilization of assets. Currently, the Indian Army is divided into 7 commands. The Indian Air Force is divided into 5 operational and 2 functional commands. The Indian Navy operates 3 commands. And there are 2 joint commands whose heads can belong to any of the 3 services. These are the Strategic Forces Command and the Andaman and Nicobar Command. This makes it difficult for all the 3 services to coordinate between themselves, especially in wartime. Theatre commands will fill this gap. Their main aim is to facilitate integrated planning and coordinated application. We at Takshashila have proposed a structure of how such theatre commands should be formed. To begin with, it is important to divide responsibilities properly. So the DMA under the CDS should focus on policy, that is, what to do. The HQIDS under the CJCSC will have to work out strategy, that is, how to get things done. And theatre commands will have to execute actions based on the operational directives of the CJCSC. Considering India's geographical characteristics, the largest theatres could be continental and maritime. The Continental Theatre would be primarily built on Army and Air Force elements. The Maritime Theatre would primarily comprise the Navy while also incorporating elements of the other 2 services. Joint Commanders and Staff Committee, headed by the CDS as chairman, along with the 3 chiefs and 4 theatre commanders, will constitute the highest joint military decision-making body. Still, these areas would be too large to be handled by a single commander, especially because theatres have to also be responsible for areas in the hinterland. Therefore, we recommend that the Continental Theatre be split into 2 theatres, with one responsible for the north and the other responsible for the west. Meanwhile, the 2 existing Western and Eastern Naval Commands should be redesignated as Southwestern Theatre Command and Southeastern Theatre Command. Each would have tri-service component commanders with assets allocated by the HQIDS. The existing Integrated Andaman and Nicobar Command will come under the SETC. The Northern Theatre would be based on the existing configuration of the Army's Eastern and Central Command. It will be responsible for China, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. The Army Component Commander would have 3, 4, 33 and 17 Corps and 9 independent brigade in the central sector of Himachal Pradesh, and any other additional resources allotted by the HQIDS. The Air Force Component Commander would have the resources of the Eastern Air Command and Central Air Command, as well as any other resources allotted. They would be responsible for the hinterland areas based on state boundaries as shown on the map. The Naval Component Commander would have a restricted role. There is a case for the ITBP and Assam Rifles to be under the control of the Theatre Commander. For example, in Jammu and Kashmir, the BSF deployed along the perennially active line of control are under the operational control of the Army. Considering the terrain, the CNC of the NTC should be from the Army. The Western Theatre Command would be based mostly on the existing configuration of the Western and Southwestern Air Command. The Army Component Commander would have 14, 15, 16, 11, 10, 12 Corps as also the 3 strike corps. Resources of Southwest Army Command, Southern Command, and Southwest Air Command can be redistributed. The headquarters of the Western Theatre could be in Delhi. Considering that force application without posturing is an important element of this theatre, the CNC should initially be from the IAF. They would also be responsible for hinterland areas based on state boundaries as shown on the map. India's power projection ability will be primarily anchored in the maritime theatre commands focused on the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea. While creating both theatres, Army and air assets for the Southwestern Theatre and Southeastern Theatre would be beefed up from the Southern Army Command, Southwestern and Southern Air Command. The headquarters of the SWTC and the SETC will be at Mumbai and Visakhapatnam respectively. They would also be responsible for the hinterland areas based on state boundaries as shown on the map. While the CNC should be from the Navy, the deputy theatre commanders should preferably be from the Army due to the responsibilities in the hinterland. The functional commands of training, logistics, intelligence, communications, cyber, space, and special forces will have to be configured to support the theatre command structure. You can read more about this in our research document. To watch more such videos, give us a like and subscribe to our channel.